Hello, today I am doing part 3 of 2026 book releases I am excited for. There are currently 3 I want to talk about, and I wanted to do another one of these soon, especially because one of these books is coming out later this month, and it's by one of my favorite authors, so of course I want to mention it to support it. And these videos are also just pretty fun to make. So the first book is that one I mentioned that's being released later this month. That is by one of my favorite authors, and that is Love Shots by Travis M. Riddle. This is a standalone adult horror novel. He mainly writes horror or fantasy. This novel is inspired by Love Island, but it has kind of a twist to it as well. The author or somebody somewhere it says that it's Love Island meets Jurassic Park, and it has also been described as a thrilling satire. I have not seen Love Island, nor do I plan on watching that, but I will read anything this author writes, so this might be interesting. I mean, I do like some reality TV shows. On the cover, there is a quote from Clay McLeod Chapman, author of Devil Inside. It says, "Spray tan survival beach body horror at its most scathingly delicious." From the author's website, the synopsis says, "They're dying for a chance at love. America's #1 dating show, Love Shots, gathers young, sexy singles in a tropical villa to compete in cheeky challenges, find love, and win a huge cash prize, with no small amount of drama. Things go off script when a recently ejected competitor reappears in the villa, but she isn't the girl the cast remembers. Something is deeply, horribly wrong with her, and she's not the only danger lurking in paradise. These 20-year-old influencers must fight to survive against a security team they believed was there to protect them, an onslaught of terror they can barely comprehend, and producers who have a decidedly sinister finale in mind, all while desperately trying to escape an isolated island. But what chance do they have when hundreds of cameras are aimed at them, watching their every move?" I'm definitely interested in reading more books with like a reality TV show aspect to them. I think that would be interesting. And I have heard people who have read this, who have seen Love Island, say that it feels like watching an episode of that, so I guess it's pretty accurate, and knowing this author's abilities, it probably is. And given the thing it's based on, I'm hoping that this book will be at least decently popular. I'd love for this author to get more attention. And he did write a whole series, a 6-book fantasy series inspired by Pokemon, but it was very much its own thing. And I think that got the most attention out of all his stuff. But I'm hoping more people will find him through this book. And if it sounds interesting to you, then maybe consider supporting an indie author. That is going to be released on May 29th. Now, unfortunately, for some reason with Amazon, self-published authors can only have pre-orders for Kindle, but this book will be available in paperback on its release date. If you would rather get that, you just have to wait, unfortunately. Okay, the second book is The Big Five Save the Lions by David Isaacman. David is a cast member on Love on the Spectrum. He's not one of the main cast, but, well, he kind of became that. He, for a while, dated one of the people on the main cast. And this is a book that was recently announced by him. When I first saw it, I thought maybe it was like a picture book, and I didn't know if I'd be interested in it, but it seems to be more of like a, maybe not middle grade, but kind of like an elementary school level book. I mean, it says it's over 100 pages, so maybe it's kind of like a younger chapter book. So I will read you the description for the product on Amazon. It says, "From David Isaacman of the docuseries Love on the Spectrum comes a new beginner novel with 25 full-color illustrations about friendship, bravery, and caring for animals. 10-year-old David, his sister Allison, and their group of friends are spending a familiar day at the beach when a group of sea lions offshore begin to fall ill. It's not just them. Seems all the animals at the San Diego Zoo next door, including David's beloved lions, are getting sick too. While David and Allison's brainy sister Aubrey and their scientist uncle Ned try to figure out what could be causing all this sickness, David and his friends accidentally stumble into the answer themselves after finding a magical backpack at the zoo gift shop. Before they know it, the group falls through the backpack and is propelled through a portal to Kenya, where they are transformed into a superhero group, the Big Five, that must use their bond, their will, and their neurodiversity to stop a supervillain eager to rid the world of its animal population. Will the Big Five be able to stop him before it's too late?" Jam-packed with action, adventure, humor, and heart, The Big Five Saves the Lions is a standalone novel for newly independent readers. It includes 30 full-color illustrations from artist Bats Langley. Part of the proceeds from the first printing of the book will go to Lions, Tigers, and Bears, an animal sanctuary in San Diego, California. The co-author is Bobby Ben-Sur, and this will be released on August 11th. So I think that sounds interesting. There's also a statement from David's Instagram that I will read when the book was first announced. It says, "Hi, I'm David. I wrote this book for kids who love animals and adventure, just like me. I'm autistic, and in this story, the heroes are too. We think differently, notice things others might miss, and feel things in big, meaningful ways, and that's what makes us strong. I care a lot about protecting animals and being a good friend, and I wanted to create a story where being different is your superpower. I also see the world in a colorful and unique way. It's called synesthesia, and that helped me imagine this whole adventure. I hope this story makes you feel proud of who you are, brave, and ready to help animals too. Let's save the lions together." So I also think it's interesting having neurodivergent characters. I enjoy that representation, and I think I will enjoy seeing how that's done. However, I do not have synesthesia, so I think it'll be interesting to read. Well, I don't know if any of the characters have that, or if that's just kind of, like you said, kind of part of how you imagine the story. So I don't know if any of the characters will have synesthesia, but it sounds like the main character is probably pretty heavily based on the author, so maybe that would be interesting. I have read at least one book so far with a main character with synesthesia, and that was A Mango-Shaped Space by Wendy Mass. This is a middle grade novel by one of my favorite authors, and this was pretty interesting. So yeah, I think that book sounds fun. I think I'd be interested in reading that. And then the last book I want to tell you about today is Nothing to See Here by Barbara Dee. Now, I have not read anything by Barbara Dee before, but I do have at least 2 of her books on my TBR. She seems to be primarily, if not entirely, a middle grade author who I've heard really understands kids today and their concerns and the things they go through. So on her website, barbaradeebooks.com, it says about the book, how far is too far? Between her best friend ditching her and her parents taking away her phone, Winnie's year is off to a rough start. But 8th grade gets even more complicated when she's named on the not hot list by an anonymous online account. Gia's on the hot list, but she'd rather not be. There's already enough chatter about her online, how she thinks she's smarter and better than everyone else, and lately that she's secretly dating Mateo. Mateo isn't dating Gia, but he's had a crush on her for over a year now. But kids online are saying they have nothing in common, and he doesn't want to make her uncomfortable. Mateo's best friend Levi doesn't mind that he's not the one in the spotlight. He's got enough going on at home. And when an anonymous post takes things too far, these 4 very different kids team up to start their own experiment, posting fake gossip on social media to show what can happen when online rumors get out of control in this high-stakes and heartfelt story from a highly acclaimed author, Barbara Dee. So I like that it's a middle grade novel that goes over more modern issues that kids may deal with, like social media and the ways that, like it says, gossip and things like that can affect people and harm people. That is going to be released on October 20th, and I think it sounds pretty interesting and pretty relevant, so I'm excited to see how she handles that. So those are some upcoming book releases I'm excited for. I don't know if there will be another part to the series. It just depends on books that get announced later in the year and how much time is there between now and then. If there are any upcoming book releases you're excited for, please let me know, and thank you for watching.